preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump. Altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump. Altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump. Altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. SEC and its policies rely on whatever Gary thinks. Bitcoin's a flight to quality. I heard that from Larry Fink. Every hour losing purchasing power on food and shelter. It's not our fault. Blame the cult. It's the political cowards. When it comes to gas, our purchasing power just got cut in half. I sit back and laugh, open my bag, fill it with stacks and sats. Bitcoin, pumping. Altcoins, pumping. I've been preparing for this. Can't tell me nothing.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a flight to quality. We are hearing from clients around the world.
Bitcoin, altcoins, I've been preparing for this.
And I believe crypto will play that type of role.
Bitcoin, altcoin,
we are hearing from clients around the world.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Crypto, depending on how you think about it. And I believe crypto will play that type of role as a
Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin,
we are hearing from clients around the world.
Are you ready? We got to talk about these markets. We are seeing some incredible price action out there. Ondo exploding, Bitcoin setting up for further highs. Altcoins ready. Let's go. Is it time for the alt season we've all been waiting on? I got my hat on backwards today because we got to talk about this setup that is brewing. And is it just going to be the popcorn effect between different altcoin assets, or are we going to see that concerted altcoin push? We talked all Bitcoin yesterday. We had Dark Side of the Moon on yesterday. Incredible content there that was very Bitcoin focused. So today I wanted to give you that altcoin love because we're seeing some motherfucking magic in these charts. Look at Ondo breaking above $1, going right into the zone. This, look at this this trend line that we have across here. The bar that comes all the way back here into March, basically the March 31st, 2024, all the way across. Resistance, support, resistance, chop zone right in here. Support and resistance. And we're right in that zone, right at the trend line right now on Ondo. We got some news on that, which we'll be covering in a little bit. BitTensor Tau also looking like it's still maintaining this upward slope. It is starting to round out. Are we going to get that test that comes back down into this zone about $308, maybe down here to $290? We're going to talk about that. Aerodrome getting that nice move to the upside. We're seeing moves across the board, even Ethereum having to break out and maintaining this sort of bull flag trajectory right now. And when we come back to Big Daddy Bitcoin, what do we see? Very similar there. Look at that Bitcoin and Ethereum chart. They're kind of looking finally like they're traveling a little bit in tandem because Ethereum has been absolutely bleeding to the downside when weighed against Bitcoin. I mean, this it's just been a sad story, sad state of affairs for so many people out there. But we got 300 or 400 people in the room. We're going to have probably 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 in here watching here in a little bit. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time, we'll dive into that in a little bit, but we got a lot of great things to cover today. Looking at what's going on in the Bitcoin and crypto wider market. What do we got? $2.93 trillion. I told you, I got my hat on backwards for a reason today, because we need to be aerodynamic in this motherfucker, because I think things are about to get heating up in a real way. That doesn't mean up only. In the volatility that's going to come, we are going to see moves, fierce moves to the upside, but we're also going to see the shakeouts to the downside. So we want to make sure that we pay attention to the levels on the chart, and so that we can outline exactly what we're looking for. And even if we're expecting it to go up right now, realize there's a lot of people that are starting to get that shifting winds of bullishness to percolate in their bones. But you don't want to just throw caution to the wind, because this is a cautionary time, because it is, I do believe, setting up for the biggest run in this crypto market that we've seen in a long time. So let's get into it, everybody. How you feeling? How you doing? We're getting some magic in the charts. We even see how Bitcoin is performing against gold. In the most recent near term we've seen over the last few weeks, it feels like gold's running away. But what does gold look like what does the gold chart look like in priced in Bitcoin, or the Bitcoin to gold ratio in markets? Well, when you look at this right here, this percentage right here, this is showing that Bitcoin is actually trending to the upside against gold. This is showing that although gold has performed exceptionally well in terms of the price action, actually, I think shocking a lot of people with how much volatility pushed to the upside we've had. When you look, this is only what we've seen before, this sort of retrace on this price action chart, on this charted metric. This just shows that, I mean, all the way back here since 2012, when Bitcoin really started getting a small bit of legs under it, we had the big move up, sideways, a larger move up, a little bit of a pullback, much larger move up, bit of a pullback, and now even sharper move back. This is the start of a parabolic turn in the market. So the question I have for all of you is this. Although gold has been performing incredibly, Bitcoin is forming a bullish parabola over the last over the last about 14 years. But you're really seeing it over this period of time right here, back to 2018, when you're really starting to see that uptick on the volatility to the upside on Bitcoin versus gold. And what do we see here? Will Bitcoin overtake gold's market cap, which currently is 22.5 trillion in the next 10 years? The caveat with this is, over the next 10 years, very likely that gold's market cap will go up too. So will Bitcoin take over gold's market cap of whatever gold's market cap is in the next 10 years? Or will it only reach this level of 22.5 trillion, have gold having still moving to the upside? Are we going to see a rotation out of gold into Bitcoin? There's so much at play right now in this market that it is unfathomably exciting. We need to make sure that we are prepared and not throwing all of our risk just in one area. It's okay to diversify. You don't need to be a maxi. I love Bitcoin. I love different particular altcoins, and I have a pretty wide diversification. But if you even say you have an IRA, say you have whatever your investment thesis is, and you're only comfortable putting 2 or 3%, then that's what you're going to do. That's okay. But make sure you have allocations in this market, because this market is about to melt faces in a way that you cannot even fathom. Now, you don't need to go all in. If you're 77, I can understand why you could be a little bit trepidatious about going fully in on one particular asset. I get it. But the question here is, are you willing to take that leap and get at least some? And I guarantee you, once you start getting involved in the crypto market, it's a very fast trip one direction, and that's towards getting more and more involved, because this is the asset class of the future. Now, we got Red Elephant. I see Doug Oshie, Rifamato. How you doing? Uncle Tommy, Falco, Granny's Garden. We got the crew in the house. Red Elephant. Who else? Chipper. We got the JoJo Gun. We got the fam we got the fam in today. I'm feeling good today, everybody. I'm buzzing. My life is buzzing. My heart is buzzing. My head is buzzing. My spirit is buzzing. These markets are buzzing. All is good. And this is what we're looking at right here when we're talking about altcoins. Let's look at this. Altcoins, the last wave of the cycle is coming, in my opinion, says Mustache here, El Crypto Prof. The last chance to make generational wealth with altcoins. Okay, let's let go of the fluffy language. Let's just look at the chart. We see this long period. Look at this. Long periods of accumulation with, yes, we had a pretty large rise there. Really big pullback. It's over. It's not going to happen. Rise. Oh, it's not going to happen. And then absolute moonshot. And this is kind of what we're seeing. Very similar to 2018 into 2021, but a lot more stretched out. But we don't just look at price action. We don't want to let price determine what our movements are in this market. The goal to absolutely drive profits in your portfolio, to gain assets, to gain wealth, to make money, is to look at the price action charted, yes, but look at that relative to other data. In this case, looking at the RSI, we've had a couple tops here that got so excited, but look at the reset on the RSI. The relative strength index has dropped so much. I mean, we're looking at these levels here, similar to back here. Yes, this got a lot higher. That's okay. Look at the reset here. Also considering when we're looking at Bitcoin and we consider where this cycle is going, considering that we have the most crypto forward, crypto friendly, crypto empowering administration that we've seen in the lifetime that Bitcoin and crypto has been out, and people are worried at these levels. We got a little hyper excited here. This is a reflection of that excitement about what's about to come. But we've reset. This is really shaking people out in terms of the confidence of what's going to happen in this market. I think altcoins are still going to perform incredibly well. You want to make sure that you are weighted in Bitcoin, but if you're going to take some flyers out there and you have an altcoin portfolio, realize that this reset is very similar to what we're seeing right here before this move. Do you think this is possible? I do, and that's why I'm so active in this market. Shout out to, I can't even read it, Lil Jew. I think that's your name. That's a funny name. It says Ondo. Let's look at Ondo again, because Ondo is just lighting my heart on fire in terms of the market. But breaking out of this downtrend resistance, we can see this zoomed in right here. I don't know why my mouse is just so jacked up. It doesn't scroll. There we go. I'll use my trackpad. But look at this beautiful breakout. We talked about the falling channel here on Ondo all the way back here when this really got established, the breakdown here, the rejection here. At this point, we had the point of contacts to establish this channel. We've been tracking this on the downside. And while this felt never ending, we added along the way. And what do we see at the bottom? We talked about this rounding pattern, this rounding bottom, suggesting that that bearish momentum was starting to weaken. And if the bearish momentum is starting to weaken, then that also indicates that the bullish momentum is starting to wake up to get rolling. And this is what we're seeing. Not only do we see the rounding bottom, we also see very clearly, let's get out to the 12-hour chart, very clearly, inverse head and shoulders, where we have the shoulder, we have the head, and we have the shoulder here. So the bears tried to take it down, bulls brought it back up. The bears took it down further, brought it back up, and this is where the key signal is. The bears tried again, now the bears are weaker. So the bears are getting stronger, now the momentum is shifting. The bears got weaker, aka the bulls said, light me up, Captain, I'm ready to go. And this is what we see. We see not only the rounding shoulder here, we see the breakout of this downtrend resistance, we see a retest of that, and then the launch. So regardless of any news that's out there, the charts showed the high probability of the bullish momentum starting to wake up and likely make a move. And what do we see? We see the move is made. And for those of us that were paying attention, even with the price falling in the zone, we could see that the shifting winds were likely coming in here. Not to mention, we have the lower lows here on the price action, while in the same time frame, we have higher lows on the RSI. From here, let's see, from here all the way up to here, see this higher low, and this is much lower lows happening. So there's underlying strength coming in while the price action was still falling, suggesting this is called a bullish divergence, suggesting this will likely have a move in the opposite direction soon. We can use the price action charts in conjunction with other data that is available to us. And RSI, this is a free indicator all of you can put on your charts. You just come up here, click on this little button right here where it says indicators, metrics, and strategies. You see this? Click on that. Just type in RSI. Boom, there it is. You can put a star by it. Then you can find it in your favorites. And that puts it down here on the bottom of the chart. And you can move it if you want. Just go like this. Quick little easy tip. Sometimes we forget that there's so many new people in here. We got to break it down on basic levels sometimes. By the way, shout out to DeFi Crypto Airdrops. We will be live on his stream at 13:15. For those that were military, you understand that means 1:15 p.m. It's military time. We're going to be on there at 1:15 p.m. You can just click on his name in the live chat if you're watching on YouTube, and you can go over to their channel. We're going to be on there. He's going to be on here tomorrow as well on our channel. We're going to talk about DeFi. We're going to talk about how you can utilize assets that you're having to, while you're holding them, you can utilize them to make money for you also. There's so much you can do in this market, everybody. I mean, we were talking, TJ's dad and I, Tim, were talking earlier. He's making $150 a day just on providing liquidity and $150 a day. It's not a lot. Oh my God, I know. It's just, it's only, is that $4,500 a month, right? Is that right? 30 times 150. I mean, guys, money adds up when you let your money do the work and you're patient. So now let's dive into this. We got a lot more to cover, a lot to dive into today. So let's get through some of this. We got about 1,600 people watching right now between YouTube and Twitter. Shout out to everybody. We got Rumble's going live right now as well. We are live streaming over on Rumble. We have only 32 followers here. These are brand new partnerships we did with Rumble. They really like our content, so they're pushing it. We got about 30,000 views yesterday on that. On Monday, we had 50,000 views. If you are watching on Rumble, I'm asking you right now, you're watching, hit that follow button. This account is only about 4 days old. They like our content, so they are also pushing it on their main page. That's how we're getting all those views. We're not paying for views. It's not like that. It's just we got good content. We want to bring you good data. So shout out to everybody there. We do have the link up there if you want to trade with us on L Bank. The link is right here in the pinned comments. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is right here in the pinned comments. $13,000 in bonuses. In fact, when you come over here, once you sign up with that link, there is a button right there. It says register to participate in that $13,000 giveaways. You don't just sign up for L Bank. Sign up for L Bank. And then right here, boom, click on register to participate. I think there's only 7 people in that competition. And the top 3 positions get 3,000, 2,000, and 1,000, I believe. Let's see. Where is it? Yeah, so 3,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000. And there's not that many people competing in that. I think a lot of people are signing up and they're not realizing you have to register to participate in that competition. And it's going to be very easy for you guys to make money there. And all of us are doing this together with Discover Crypto, BitLab Academy, and Blockchain Basement. So shout out to that. I just want to get through some sponsors real quick. Make sure you're protecting your crypto. We're going into a time where it's going to be so exciting. We're going to be making money. Do not have a bunch of numbers on your screen you're taking screenshots of only to get hacked or to lose it or trade away. Make sure you're protecting yourself. Head over to getarculus.com. Use code BitLab10 or BitLab20. The BitLab 21 might still work for 20% off or 10% off. BitLab 10 or BitLab 20 over at getarculus.com. Protect your crypto. Protect your future. One tap, total security right here with this awesome card that you get that is your wallet. And if you lose if you lose a card, it doesn't matter. If you lose your phone, it doesn't matter. All these things you can repair and get it. Doesn't matter if somebody steals your card. They don't have access to your crypto. They need your biometrics, your PIN code, and your phone and the card. So it's the most secure crypto cold storage solution out there. Now, we talked about gold, outpacing gold. We also see the altcoin setup of the century and all the capital flow and the interest and the global awareness coming in right now. Guys, we are setting up. Bitcoin ETFs already bought $2.2 billion worth of Bitcoin this week. On top of that, we also have SoftBank that has everything going on with Jack Mallers and Cantor Fitzgerald and Tether and Bitfinex. And everybody was so excited about what was going on with MicroStrategy. Now we have a whole nother entity that is basically explicitly said they want to hold as much or more as MicroStrategy. Currently, that's about 42 or 48 billion dollars worth. They have so much Bitcoin, and we have so many different things going on right now, including nation states, sovereign wealth funds, all the states across the U.S., Bitcoin laws, legislation. Bitcoin legislation. That's the word. I am just flustered today, guys. And but point is, we have so much buying pressure coming into the market. And even Fidelity has said that all this, the amount of companies and institutions that are stacking in right now, while retail is scared. No, man, I'm buying with the big boys that see where this is going because I know where it's going. Big love to every one of you. I appreciate you. I want to see every one of you in the live chat right now. Whether you're watching on Rumble, whether you're watching on X, whether you're watching on YouTube, get in the live chat right now. Let me know. Let's see where everybody's at. What city, what state, or what country are you tuned in from? And what are you doing while you're watching? Is it in your pocket? You're just listening? Are you making yourself breakfast? Are you out there at the gun range while you're trying to figure out how to get your money right and get your protection right? Are you dropping your kids off at school? Let's see where you're all at. Some of you might be in the same area. And how many of you are coming to the Bitcoin conference in Vegas? We should do a meetup and we should do it in conjunction with Discover Crypto and with Blockchain Basement. Let's do it. I'm going to be grilling some steaks. My girl's coming out there. All of everybody else's wives are coming out there. We're going to have so much fun bouncing around, going to different events, hosting some media stuff at that house. So let me know. Let's all get together. We got to tie some hugs together so we get out of these screens. But let's look beyond all the fluster and the chart. I do want to say, welcome to the show, guys. If this is your first time here, this is not going to be your last time here. My name is Kellam, and I'm here to help make sure that you can look at a number of different data points so that you can navigate this market and stop getting navigated by this market from your emotional triggers. I've lost so much damn money in this market when making stupid decisions that all I had to do was look to somebody else that's been there and say, hey, what shouldn't I do? What should I do? That's our biggest flaw as humans. There have been billions of people that have come before us, even our parents. Think about when you're kids and we just ignore people that know because we know better. No, we don't know shit. Once we realize we don't know anything, then we can start to learn, right? So I don't know it all. I just been in these markets for 10 years and I've made quite a bit of money in this market. And I love the opportunities that this presents for every single one of you. So make sure you hit that like button, you hit the subscribe button and ding the bell, especially if you're on X, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Rumble. When you do, just scroll down right here and you see this right here. Make sure it says subscribe. Hit that join button if you want to become a member, get some access to some free private member streams, and also get the little beaker next to your name with everything. It shows the BitLab beaker. It fills up the longer you're a member. And then beyond that, once it says subscribed, hit this all button, turn on your notifications because I share stuff, guys. And sometimes it's member stuff and I'll post it in the public area. I posted in the public area. In fact, I'll show you. I did one the other day right here. I still haven't deleted it, but this was a private member stream. I shared. If you had your notifications on, you would have seen it. I'm just saying, but let's get into it. We got a lot of stuff to cover. Okay. We got the altcoin set up. We have the ETF flows coming in massively right now. We see the setup for another major move to the upside. I mean, massive macro inverted head and shoulders. These are the two tops that we saw in 2021. This is how big this inverted head and shoulders is. And what this shows, left shoulder, giant inverted head, right shoulder, we have broken out and we've retested. Even if you don't subscribe to the idea that this is the macro head and shoulders, you can't deny that we have a trend line at minimum, the trend line of this top, this top, this top that we broke out of, and we're retesting this trend line, this previous resistance, multi-year previous resistance that we've broken out of. And everybody was so worried, but when you look at the structure of this market, this is the most bullish thing you can do. A break of a zone, a retest of the zone. So it's a breakout, retest, confirmation, move, continuation, especially with all the capital flow that's about to come into this market. And my question for you right now is, what are you doing about it? Are you stacking? Are you sitting on your hands? Comment down below if you're watching this later. Comment in the live chat. Do you think we have another leg down or do you think we're cooking and we're about to take off, baby? Let's talk about it because we got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to look at some altcoins here in just a moment. Coinbase and PayPal have strengthened their partnership. You know how many people use PayPal? Tens of millions into I think almost about 100. So many people use PayPal. And now it's also, they've been offering, you can buy on Venmo as well and Cash App and all these different access points people are utilizing. You can buy Bitcoin and crypto with, but now Coinbase and PayPal also strengthening their partnership to further adoption. Great. And stable coins, of course. And then we also see some data here in that bear market vibe. Everybody's so worried. What do we see? We see the outflows, the on-chain trader realized price, profit and loss margin. So are people trading in profit or trading loss? And also what's going on with the actual price on the chain relative to what's happening to the realized price. What do we see? We're seeing bull market pullback setups. Bear markets are when you're breaking down in these much deeper levels. This is just these little reset opportunities for those that are paying attention before we launch. And this is going to be very important when we're considering what's going on with altcoins. Whether you're holding Near Protocol, Injective, Cardano, AVAX, Ondo, Aerodrome, or even something like Dog on Bitcoin, or something like Brett, or even the altcoin, the meme coin narratives. When you start seeing Bitcoin really starting to heat up into that risk on, let's just take the money and, just run this up to the upside, you start getting a lot more risk on environments in the rest of the altcoin market. So this is important in that regard. And then we also see, this is what I was talking about, $5 trillion asset manager Fidelity says Bitcoin supply on exchanges is dropping due to public company purchases. The amount of available supply out there and the amount of demand that is about to flood in, compounding what's going to happen in price action because of less supply and exponential demand, you are not bullish enough. Stack, stack, stack. Hit the like button. Subscribe to us here at BitLab Academy. I want to keep you on the right side of the trend. And there are so many things going on in this market. Let's stay adaptable. Let's plan for both directions and try to stack the probabilities about what's most likely so we can take risk while also hedging our bets and taking risk-adjusted moves in this market. Now, continuing on, what else we got? XRP, CME Group launching XRP futures. This is happening. Guys, the case for the crypto ecosystem is only getting stronger. Then why is Ondo pumping? Ondo Finance has just had talks with the SEC's Crypto Asset Working Group to explore compliant pathways for issuing and selling U.S. tokenized treasuries. The steps are being taken. The type of people that are involved with Ondo, everything from Goldman Sachs to Wisdom Tree to MasterCard to, the list at BlackRock. Now, some of those companies I kind of rather wish wouldn't be involved in crypto. But when we're talking about the speculative nature of an asset, what might happen over the next 6 months, 12 months, or 3 years, or 12 years, we consider where's the speculation going to ride this? What's going to be the impulse for buying pressure to come in? Well, as we see with this in the price action on Ondo, what do we see? We see a massive just pop right there. Now, the price action in the charts suggested a pop was coming, but then we also see the news only giving that sort of nudge of encouragement to the people that go risk on here. And it's not just Ondo, we're seeing it kind of across the board. And then here, I just want to shout out beyond everything else. If you're holding Bitcoin or thinking about buying and want to get some cash without selling it, you can get USDC 5% APY instantly on Coinbase, powered by Morpho Labs. So this isn't me talking about Bitcoin or Coinbase. This is talking about Morpho Labs, one of those coins I've been wanting to get, but you sometimes have to pick where you're going to add and how much you're going to add. And there's only so much to go around. And I like to buy in somewhat size in chunks. That's why the other day, we made a pretty big leap into BitTensor Tau. And where did we do that on BitTensor Tau? We did it at an incredible spot. Where is that? Boom, right here. Now, how did I know to get here? I felt the shifting winds in the altcoin ecosystem and Bitcoin and the markets. I felt that there was a percolating sense of bullishness, and I was betting on a pullback here on BitTensor, which you could go back in my streams. I called it out. I talked about BitTensor coming up and having a rejection here. And if this rejected here, I was looking for a start of a bullish reversal if it were to happen around this 382, this 382 Fibonacci right here. And we saw that. How do we see that? We saw price action. Look, breakdown, momentum's increasing bearishly. Little pause. Breaks down. Okay, breaks down. This is looking like a little bit of a very short-term downtrend. It was. But then what did we see? What was the start of the signal that we were, okay, it does look like it might reverse. Look at the size of these candles. Small candle, bigger candle, small, big, small, big. This is just stair-stepping to the downside. And then the change of pace here, when you had these candles, basically spinning top doji candles, means bearish candle, bearish, bearish, neutral, neutral, and starting to be bullish. This is showing that shifting winds, and it's not just the candles. It's happening right on the bounce of this 382 fib. So this is the super bullish pullback here. If this bounces here, that means the bulls are coming in charge. Not only that, we also see that also establishes basically 3 higher lows right in here. So I went in, bought 16 BitTensor Tau. I got 16 a Tau coin right here at $232. And then what do you know? Almost immediately after, within about 7 hours, boom, price action has, the whole winds started to shift. I'm up like 60% or something like this on BitTensor Tau. Boom, from here. Now, this is looking a little overheated on the 12-hour chart with the RSI so high. What is it looking like on the 4-hour? Okay, so now I'll show you something. So now I'm not going to trade out of this because I made that purchase expecting a multi-month run on Tau, right? So that doesn't mean it's only going to go up. We're going to have some push up, retrace, right? We're looking specifically, we're okay with it. Rise, retrace. Sorry, let me do that. My mouse is a little wonky here. Rise, retrace, continuation. You need to not be so god darn worried about those retraces. It's just like a relationship. It's flowery, it's fluffy, it's snuggly, you have an argument. The relationship's over. If you act like that, you're never going to have a relationship. In fact, you do not have a good relationship unless you can get in an argument and feel comfortable, safe, and know that you have the tools and the mechanisms between both of you to work through that argument. If you run away at any sign of trouble, then what kind of relationship could you ever have? The same thing happens in these charts. You want to see the rise, the retrace, the trouble, okay, let's work it out, continuation. Everything you see on these charts, on any chart, whether it's oil, gold, NASDAQ, S&P 500, Fartcoin, Bitcoin, Tau, Arrow, it doesn't matter. You are seeing a map of the psychology of the market, of a bullish narrative, shifting to a bearish narrative, shifting to a bullish narrative, shifting to a bearish narrative. So this is basically neutral. They're battling. Nobody's really dominant here. And then the bearish narrative takes over when the bulls give up. The bulls try a little bit, they give up. The bears are winning this argument. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing an argument of psychology about which narrative is the most dominant. So when we see this descending, broadening wedge, which is statistically more likely to break bullish, and we also see a bit of an inverted head and shoulders here, right? And we also see the bulls, when this pulls back, the bulls defend at a higher low, then we can feel confident about that move. Now, in this case, this has been pushing higher, but what gives me a little pause just in my expectation, not a pause on my holding this, but seeing this like this, you're like, I should get in before it runs away. I would say no in my strategy because I see this pushing up, large move up, another large move up, smaller move up, even smaller move up, but we're seeing consecutive higher highs here. And what do we see on the RSI? Consecutive lower lows. Lower highs. So we're seeing a bearish divergence of the highs here of the strength getting weaker while the price action is pushed up. It's actually, in fact, rounding a little bit, suggesting, and it might just moonshot here. You never know with tweets coming from Trump, right? And what's going on with the trade war. There's a lot on the table that's affecting TA beyond just the chart pattern say this. We have to expect for both directions. But just looking at the chart, this is suggesting that we may get if something outside of the charts, something on a outside impact within the hope in this market, the excitement. The trade war is done. There's no tariffs anywhere. Doesn't matter what this TA says about a bearish divergence. The price action is going to move to the upside, most likely in a lot of assets. If we don't get that, and we're just looking at the chart, we see higher highs here with lower highs on RSI. And this could be true for any asset. In this case, we're looking at Tau. This is suggesting to me just on the chart alone that we can expect to see something here that does test down into this $295 to $310 range. Why? Because we have this previous high here and we have this low right here that also is, look at this. This is a previous high, there's a previous low, there's a previous low. So we have this zone right here that I'd be looking for a good opportunity to potentially add to my bag. We're seeing the strength here. If this does pull back and we start to see signs of a reversal, then I will likely be adding more in this position, adding to my winner. So that's what we're looking at right now on BitTensor. And then we look at Ondo again. So Ondo has broken out of that downtrend that we've been mapping for quite some time. And this is coming right into a sort of critical zone. What is a critical zone? Let's actually drag it across so it's more visible. I put most of these bars and lines on the chart for you guys to see. When I look at the chart, I see it. Because I've done this so long, I can see. It's also why I have the dotted line on my price action. I can see where it's touching. All you have to do is right click, come down to settings, come over here. You see symbols, scales and lines, and you can change the different colors that you have. You can change where different stuff is. You can change all this, but you can also come right here to, is it status line? I forget. I think it's last price, volume, titles, chart values, open market. I haven't changed it in so long. Is it scales and lines? Value line symbol. Yeah. Pre-post market. You can turn all these different things on to adjust this how you want to see it. Grid lines, crosshair, all this kind of stuff. So this is a crosshair right here. And I believe this is, so it's crosshair. Come down to canvas, come over here to crosshair, and you can see exactly. It makes it just so much easier. So when I'm moving my mouse across, if I don't have lines on, I can go Is there any key levels I'm watching for here? Well, look at that. This bounced right here. This is exactly where price action is trying to fight through right now. Now, when we turn on the other metrics and stuff, I have it drawn out, so it's just very easy to see. This is testing this range that has been a bit of a trouble. This means that if we do get a rejection here, it's not the end of the world. It means we might be setting up for another opportunity somewhere down in this range, back in the 87 to dollar range. We are at a critical junction though right now at $1.01. If this does come back down here, we'd like to hold above this 85 to 90 cent region. We're right at $1. So of course we want to hold $1, but it's going to be a little arbitrary right now. We want to pay attention to what happens here. If this does slice through and continue, have a bit of a continuation here, that would be fantastic. If that's the case, then what we're going to want to see is it comes up here. We want to see this blue zone. It doesn't have to be right at $1, but this blue region, we'd like to see this hold and watch for what's happening in the data underneath in conjunction with the price action so we can make that move. Render made some moves, but much like what we saw in AVAX, what do we see? We see much higher highs. And I mean, look at this, inverted head and shoulders, beautiful. And the move came, I mean, this is so god darn beautiful. Look at this move. Boom, let's measure it out, boom. And look at where the price action went to. Went almost just beyond, but just at this target. So that target has been made satisfied, but we also have much higher highs here, meaning the price action where these peaks are. There's higher high, higher high, higher high. What do we see in the RSI? We see very flat. So there's a bit of bearish divergence there. This is going much higher. You're not getting more strength. In fact, it's getting a little bit weaker over time at a slight angle. And you can see this if I make this much larger. See, there's a slight angle to the downside, getting a little weaker while the price action was pushing up. And what happened on this peak where that bearish divergence was established? Price action came back down and tested. This has come back up again, but note that this time that it came back up, this did not reach the previous high. So this is confirming that in the very short term, we might be seeing a little bit of a reversal momentum coming in. And that just means that this may come back down to test here again. If that happens, then we're going to be watching for potentially a test back down here into the 390 sort of range. Because this also, if that were to happen, would form a shoulder, head, shoulder. You see all this? You can, as the things are playing out, you can start to paint the indication of what's happening in the market that can signal what's going to happen next. Let the market give you the map and use news and all the things and the awareness of what's going on as something, as a additive, another ingredient in your context of the market to weigh that against. Okay. Now, Chainlink is doing beautifully. Falling channel. We had the bullish divergence here with the much lower lows. We can see right here, let me make this a bit bigger. We have basically a bit flat here on the RSI with the much lower lows, suggesting a little bit of underlying bullish divergence kind of filtering in to your understanding. Are the bears in control where they're, it's falling, but the strength is actually starting to come in. What we get? We got a bounce here, a little bit of a rejection, and then launch where? Right into the zone that all of those of you that have been paying attention for years and years and years, the 2,120 people tuned in right now. What do we see? We see this horizontal bar right here that I've had on this chart for quite some time. And this is just where there's a lot of price memory of price action that is rejected, bounced, kind of sliced through, but rejected on the bottom side, rejected on the very bottom side. Look at this, a bounce right here on the top side, rejection within this right here, and we're going right into this zone. It's not a bad thing. Doesn't mean, oh my God, it's not going to work. It just means, oh, we have a zone where we know there's a lot of price memories. There's going to be other liquidity orders of buys and sells in this zone. And we want to see who's going to dominate that. And the ones that dominate that, that's the direction it's going to go. So I don't expect this just to slice, boom, straight through here, unless they say, we're going live tomorrow with all the Swift integration. For those of you that don't know what Swift is, Chainlink is integrating with Swift and DTCC. Chainlink, I think Swift does around $7 trillion a day in volume. That's the largest global payments network on fiat. They're integrating with Chainlink. DTCC does $3 quadrillion a year in settlement of basically stock markets. They're integrating with Chainlink. And all that, the Swift stuff, I think is supposed to be deployed in November. But my point is, although we do have the trouble zone on the chart right here, if we don't get some big news event, I'm not expecting this just slice through. So on the chart level, not counting on news, I'm expecting that we're going to have a little bit of work to do right here. Now, this is a great start, nice bounce out of this, but it's not just going to be sunshine and butterflies and rainbows just straight to the moon. I'm expecting a little to watch what happens here, a little bit of chop here, maybe even a testing back down to this blue zone. But, you know, basically boom, something like this, chop, 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 then out, a rejection, come back down to now flip this previous resistance to support. And then you catch this move back up to the upside. Then you already have the next level already there. It's like having a roadmap on the chart when you're looking, when you're zooming out on the chart, looking where there's been price memory on the chart, and you have your zones of interest to watch for so you can stack the probabilities in your favor. Guys, I'm so excited about what's happening here because not only do we see the chain link price action in this falling channel breaking out, we also see a descending trend line right here with the RSI that has broken out, retested, and then launched, showing a shift in the strength also breaking out, not just the price action. That's the kind of stuff you want to see, everybody. Litecoin. Also, look, downtrend, bounce right on a trend line. Lost it right on now this sort of established trend line that we have here on Litecoin. Look at this. Now we're pushing up right into that same trend line that we bounced on before. So this means that we bounced on it before. I'm not expecting this to slice right through. Currently, we're having a little bit of softness here. Let's pay attention at these levels. I think Litecoin is going to do some great things. Curve. I mean, look at this. Beautiful inverted head and shoulders. Now it's starting to make the move up on this area right here. Has tested right on this neckline. Look at this. Option J, option H. See the breakout, retest, and now it's starting to move back up. The market's waiting on that next impulse to really get to get things in gear. I will caution a little bit in the near term. We do have descending resistance. Sorry, the RSI descending highs here, while you do have fairly angled up higher highs here. In addition to that, you also have a rising wedge. So you have some bearish signals on curve in the near term, which suggests, oh, it's breaking up. It's going to the good. It's going well. It's about to. It might. But the data is suggesting with the bearish divergence and a rising wedge that this will more likely than not at least test back down here to 58 cents, if not a little bit lower, to really scare some people before moving to the upside. Now, we don't know. What we've seen in the last 6 or 8 months in this market is even though these patterns tend to break to the downside before they go up, we've seen everything in and or around just taking liquidity from people going, let's capture the bull. Let's capture the bulls. Let's capture them. Because everybody's so excited, and you get that breakout, fake out, bull trap, to then come down, say, I knew it was going to go down, and then everybody sells, and it's like, okay, and then only to reverse back up, having this sort of washout in both directions, clearing out the bulls and clearing out the bears, liquidating them on the way up, and then getting people committed long, and then saying, psych, and then you have the reversal that comes to the downside, liquidating all those bulls, and then getting everybody committed bearish. Then you have a bear trap, committing people bearish. Then you liquidate those bears by going long, and then everybody's shaken out and you get a little bit of consolidation before the move. So do be cautious right now, but I was just looking at this pattern and the bearish divergence, suggesting a little bit of a pullback in the very near term. Avalanche, falling channel here. And we also have this trend line I saw yesterday. Rejection, 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 rejection. But you kind of have a bit of a very wonky head and shoulders. Let's just ignore that. We have a break of this descending trend line. We also had the break of this descending trend line that we've already tested. Look at this little trap here. Boom, came up. Where did it come? Came right to these previous range lows. So in the zone, it wouldn't be out of context for this to come down a little bit more before it comes out, finds some supports and goes. If it decides to just move up from here, I'm watching for a rejection or some testing here at the 24.96 level. If so, we're watching for a bounce back here at the 22.60, 22.80 level. But the lines, the charts, the signals, they're all on the chart. And in fact, on Bitcoin even, look at this. We have the descending wedge. Remember before we saw the rising wedge tends to break bearish. This is a descending wedge. meaning these areas are getting closer together, getting closer together. And these tend, when they're pointed to the downside, falling wedges tend to break to the upside. Now look at a little deviation, little deviation, little deviation, just psyching mofos out. But then look, we bounce here on the bullish divergence, come up, find some support, launch. So now we've got a little bit of a bull flag. Now, interestingly, this is overtaken this trend line, which I did not add today. This has been on the chart. Make sure you're following us here on BitLab Academy, whether it's on Rumble, whether it's on X, whether it's on YouTube. Make sure you're following us. We're keeping you on the right side of the trend. And look at this. I just noticed this today. I've had this line on here for some time. I mean, longer than a day, longer than a week, longer than probably a month or so, maybe even months. This line has been on here for some time. The price action has broken up beyond that. And currently, it doesn't mean it's going to hold, but look at exactly where this price action bounced, right on that trend line that we had. So if this holds and this forms a bull flag, then what we would do is we take a measurement from here all the way up to the top here. We take this measurement and we say, okay, the next target would be up here at $104,000. And the price action is telling us that. The one thing I'll caution you on, though, this was a very inefficient move to the upside. Wow, very quick. It wouldn't shock me. In fact, I would really like it to have this not be a bull flag, trade sideways, and break to the downside to retest this region somewhere in here, somewhere between 86 and 88.5. This zone, I'll actually even draw it on here. I'll go like this. This zone right in here. Let's make it blue so it's a different color. This would not be terrible to happen. This is a pretty darn big move. And now from here, what was that? In the $83,000 range up to 94.4, 12% move. And people wonder why Bitcoin's not moving. What are you paying attention to? For this to come back would only be part of normal bullish behavior. They come back into this 87.6 is kind of the optimum level before it kind of makes its move up and then we break towards all-time highs. But the altcoin market is feeling good. Look at the others chart. Others chart signaling the index of all the altcoins we're looking at. The falling channel. Falling patterns tend to break bullish. Rising patterns tend to break bearish. Falling channel, the rounding bottom, bullish divergence, rising, let's go to the daily. Bullish divergence on the RSI here for the others chart, everything outside the top 10. And look at this, comes up, tests this, and breaking out, especially on these smaller time frames. You can see broke out, came back, tested, trying to make that next move up. And it's right currently in the middle of a very interesting zone where this price action for the others chart has been all the way since back here, December 2023. See this? Rejection, chop right inside, support, 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 chop right inside, rejection at the top of it, rejection at the bottom, rejection at the top, rejection in the middle, support at the bottom, support at the top, rejection, rejection right below, and we're right in the middle of the zone. And this goes way back all the way to December 2023 before the, guys, we're on the cusp. I'm on the edge of glory. You got to hold on here, guys. I'm so excited about everything in this market. I'm going to send you over to Blockchain Basement now. Show some love. That's all I got today, everybody. I'm heading over to the DeFi. What's it called? DeFi crypto airdrops. I'm going to go to his page right now. Let me make sure you guys are following DeFi crypto airdrops. Why? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. My bad. Give me 1 second. It is right. DeFi crypto airdrops. Copy, go to channel. It is this channel right here. At 1:15 p.m. It is this channel right here. Show some love. It's our friend. Veteran Crypto is in here. He's the one that's doing this. He is great. Make sure you follow. I'll be live on here in about an hour. But that's all I got, everybody. I love you so much. We're going to head over to Blockchain Basement now. I appreciate all of you that have been here. If this is your first time here, make sure you're following. Hit that like button. Subscribe. We're live daily. I do content throughout the day and the weekends. I do a bunch of content on the Mario Nafal channel. I do all the content on my X channel, also at Kelly Kellam. Make sure you are following me right here at Kelly Kellam, KelyKellam. There's only one. There's about 70 or 80 fake accounts out there. Make sure you are spelling my name correctly, Kellam. AM, 2Ls, 40.7 thousand followers. And also at Academy BitLab, which is our BitLab X account channel. I love you guys. I appreciate you so much. I will see you over on Blockchain Basement, and then I'll see you on DeFi, crypto, airdrops. But that's all I got today, everybody. I love you. Over and out. And to somebody out there, sending you them tingles. Adios.